Insights with Terri Coots, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Coots. Here's Terri.
Hi everybody, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Thank you for joining me to help me explore the week of July the 8th through the 14th, 2024. I still want to say 19. I don't know, I can't seem to get, it's only 24 years ago, but I can't seem to get into the 2000s. I don't know, time goes by so fast, so fast. Let's explore what the heavens have to offer us, maybe some of the lessons that we have to offer ourselves. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Excuse me. I'm working in a little different area. That makes it different because we are a farming community, and today seems to be the day that they want to use their tractors and go with their big, heavy, bumpy trailers and go down the road, and it sounds like an earthquake. They're taking weed off all around me. My crop's coming off too. I've got the windows closed. I'm going to try to have it as quiet as possible for us so we're not disturbed. But it's that wonderful time where we're starting to harvest, where everything is starting to produce for us. Maybe some of your gardens are starting to do. You can see them coming. It's a late season, really late. But don't you just love summer and the growth and the vitality of it all? And again, I have my little elf, my little parrotlet sitting here. She's feral. She's starting to come along. She trusts me enough to get to the bottom of her cage, which is a big thing for a bird. Height is safety. I'm a predator when I'm sitting with her. So for her to go to the bottom of the cage to eat the millet or the seeds, and she is kind of taking the millet from my hand once in a while if I'm really slow. So I'm right now sitting with her, and she's sitting with me, and I hope she doesn't do too much of a serenade. Now, the sun sign is still in Cancer. Cancer being that loving, kind, home body, kind of loyal, compassionate, psychic energy field. And Cancer is also in Venus, which is our planet of love, beauty, attraction. I love it when Cancer's in there. The challenge is everybody wants a relationship that's perfect, and well, we know that relationships can't ever be perfect. They can be tolerable or much better than that or almost unlivable, but perfect with its human to human is pretty tough to achieve. But as long as there's more good than there is bad, even the relationship with my dogs and the birds and the ducks and the turkeys, I wouldn't call it perfect. I would call it, what would I call it? A work in progress. Always trying to understand, always trying to look at the body language. What does that mean? What is that animal feeling? How can I help that animal to overcome that fear that doesn't make sense? They're looking at me. What's going on? Why is she upset? Oh, she doesn't feel good. I had a shingles shot a few days ago. Wow, that kicked my butt, I'll tell you. And my dogs were so thoughtful. I mean, I have 15 working dogs. I mean, these dogs require an enormous amount of attention and energy expansion. And they just, when I did what I had to do, because I had to, they just laid with me and tried to lay on my chest and tried to make me feel better. And they did make me feel better. So I felt very loved, very appreciated, and they were very, very considerate. So if you get your shingles shot, try to, and it's worth it. If you ever had shingles, you don't want that. That's months and months and months. So I strongly suggest it, but make sure the next day and the day after are not booked heavy, because if you have a reaction to it, you're not going to want to do much. It's pretty significant. Get your attention, let me tell you. So Mercury, the planet of the mind, that's in Leo, and Leo is that strong energy that is fiery and take charge and let's get this done. We can do it. Very determined, very impulsive. Now, it's a fire sign. So we have the water signs and the fire signs together. Venus will be moving into Leo on the 12th, which is this week. So the change itself can agitate us sometimes because we're moving from water sign to fire sign. That's a pretty significant leap. So if we add too much water, we put the fire out. Too much fire, we burn the water off. But if we can balance that, we have steam, which is very powerful. So it's a nice combination. We just have to ease into it and make that adjustment as we work into it. It changing in Venus, which is our relationships, can add some irritation or frustration or short temper, short fuse. Just keep an eye on that. What am I feeling? My dogs reflect me, so I can look at them and see what I'm feeling. So if they're wagging and happy in that, I guess I'm pretty secure. If I see them, kind of leaning up to me, it's okay, Mom, it's okay. I can see that maybe I'm tense or I'm worried about how am I ever going to fix this tractor, or I've got something on my mind, I'm distracted, and they recognize the tension. Then I recognize that they recognize the tension, and then it's my job to do something about it. So I might just stand there and breathe and just let it go consciously. Just let it all go. I did that with a client yesterday, and it worked beautifully. She was very tense with her dog. Dog wouldn't do a thing for her. So I had her just ground, which was totally foreign for her. I'm sure she thought I was a voodoo queen. I asked her to ground, pretend your feet are the roots of a tree, and just feel them going everywhere and grounding yourself. And then breathe and just let all of everything go. So after 3 good deep breaths of just letting it go, I said, now look at your dog. Just look at your dog. His tension was gone. He was just sitting there in a very relaxed pose. First time since he arrived. So I said, do you see how your mood, your energy affects everything around us? Not just your pet, but everything, insects. Just waves of energy. We are so powerful, and I don't think we're cognizant of what we experience, how we're sending it out there all the time. It's more of a subconscious thing. So we have all of this psychic energy with that Cancer. We have the instincts of the cat, and in Mars, the planet of our drive and our passion, that's in Taurus. And Taurus is the bull. So it's determination, it's strong-minded, it's willing to achieve, willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. So it's a really powerful, if you have ever stood beside a bull, which I have on many occasions, it's awe-inspiring. These things are so powerful. And when they get deciding to do something, it takes a lot to turn them aside. So if you have that energy, I don't know what you couldn't accomplish, really and truly. We will have a new moon on the 11th, and that's going to be in Capricorn. And it's on a Thursday. So that's an energy field that brand new thought patterns, brand new reshaping of our thoughts. More epiphanies on, holy cow, I hadn't tied those two together. Jeepers. And then Capricorn being that energy that is so responsible and so able to show us how to do it right and will get the job done right. The challenge here, kids, physically, is that Capricorn rules the backbone, the knees, your joints, and then above it would be Sagittarius, and on Monday Sagittarius is ruling the moon, and that's the liver, the hips, the thighs, the sacrum. So, and then behind it on Friday in Aquarius, what we have to be careful of, it's the ankle, the shin, and the Achilles. So our tendons, all of our joints can be very, very vulnerable and very sore. I'm feeling it already, not to wins, but I am. I'm always ahead. I'm always about a week ahead of everybody. And it's sore. It's just sore. So to help myself, yes, I took a gummy. Yes, I did. I'll be honest. It was a gummy to go to sleep and try to sleep through the pain. But to try to help myself holistically, I've really looked at my list of anti-inflammatory foods and tried to try to choose from those lists as much as possible, avoiding sugar like the plague, and then look at inflammatory foods and really get away from that. Just get right away from it. So diet, lots of water, trying to be aware of the body may help you through it, but it's going to be a particularly achy time. For some of you, it will be a week before now. For some of you, it'll be last week, this week, and next week, because we're in it. So just, all I can say is do the best you can, because that's all we can do, right? Now, with Capricorn energy, when it kind of ties to all of this, what we look at is the need to get things done right, the need to make sure that society is working in a way that is good for everybody. So it's bigger than us. It's the big picture. We're able to see the big picture and go outside of ourselves and look at it. It's a terrible example, but I'm going to give you a big picture, and I'll make it as quick as I can. I handle the dog food it's a Inukshuk. You can't buy it in the stores. I get it because I have performance dogs with certain different needs, and I don't need all the fillers. And many of the dog foods use simple carbs, so that's a lot of sugar for the dog. So a lot of the dogs that come here are wound because there's so much sugar. The white flour, the simple carbs convert to sugar. So these dogs are like grandkids that go to grandma's house and get high on sugar and then are sent home with the parents. And everybody says, why are your dogs so calm? Well, partly it's training, partly it's a lot of exercise, and partly it's what I choose for them to eat. But my point being, the tax. When the freight rates go up because the gas quotes and contracts go up, my tax goes up 13% on the increase as well. So I'm paying 13% on the freight, which is maybe about $600. So then you add the tax on that and the increase. I pay tax on the dog food that's manufactured. So there's 13% tax on the bag, then there's tax on the freight, there's tax on the delivery, there is tax that the company pays for each product that they bring in. So if they bring in chicken and fish, they bring in the tax on the gas to go catch the fish, the tax on the people's wages that are making this, the tax on the minerals, the tax on the vitamins. Do we have any idea, looking at the big picture, how much tax Canadians pay from start to finish? Take one car and say the car is sold 10 times in its 20-year career. Do you know how much tax the government makes on that, besides taxing the company for all of the products that goes in for the car? I don't have to explain this anymore. It's incredible. So this energy that we have right now that helps us look at the big picture, that dawned on me, that probably that dog food, if you took all the, say a $90 bag of dog food, for instance, because that's usually what the stores charge, and mine's a lot less, just a little aside there, upselling, that dog food probably initially would cost the company maybe $20, $25 to produce, and everything else is middleman and tax. So look at how much we're paying, and I don't know what we could do about it. I think we need more of a voice. I think we do need to start looking at how can they just pass all of this without telling us, for one thing, for not letting us vote on it, another, and that we just allow it. I think a lot of Canadians are not aware that after 65 and 73 and 74, a lot of the healthcare benefits have been taken away. Me, as a 74-year-old, was not aware until I went to get my shingle shots. Oh, we only cover it until 73. Okay, so that means that at 73 you don't get sick anymore, or you just want me to die early so that you don't have to pay for me at the hospital. Let's be honest, right? If us old people die early, we're not a drain on the system. I was amazed at all the services that were taken away when you become what's considered senior. Look into it. It shocked me. I didn't even know about it. So we have to do something as Canadians and maybe not be as patient and kind and compassionate and apathetic and maybe take some voice and maybe have the government hear us. I do think people are doing that a little bit more. It's a terrifying time when I see what the States is going through. Terrified. I'm horrified. And I see what we're just about to go through, and we're tied to the States. I don't mean this to be political. I mean this to be global. We have Aquarian energy on Friday, and that is given to us by the universe to give us a real good look at the big picture. They want us to look at the big picture so that we can make good choices for ourselves, our family, our children, our grandchildren, our earth, our experience, our animals, everything. What's the big picture? Before we could throw garbage out the window, nobody of the car going by, nobody thought anything of it. It was our right. Throw garbage out. Somebody will clean it up, or it'll just die out there. Now we look at the big picture. That's not a good thing to do. So I think our picture is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm absolutely loving that. Absolutely loving it. Now, I pulled a few cards for us. Basically, when I hone it down, we're looking at women and men. So there's one side of the cards is leaning towards the issues and the situations that women would be in. The other side of the line is men, the issues that they will be working with and need to learn. So it's male, female. I've never had this happen before. This is quite interesting for me. It really is. Leave it to you guys to bring out the interesting. Almost all of them are major cards, so that means that what you're about to experience this week is going to be very important. It's not something to just slide through and not pay attention to. The women, what they're suggesting is we need, again, that global look, big perspective, to look forward and see how the rules that are being implemented, how the attitude that is being accepted and generated affects us as a gender, as part of the species of humans, and it wants us to get stronger. So I'm just pulling stuff out of the air here. I'm going to take an example that I think it applies to. Let's take the States with Roe v. Wade, where abortion is becoming a difficulty, even when the woman's having health issues, and they're telling the women, these white men are telling the women, you can't get care before 16 weeks, but you can't have an abortion after 17 weeks. You can't have birth pills. We're not going to take care of you. Oh, and we're going to sue you if you go to a different state, and we're going to sue your doctor. So they're using fear. So women have lost to many lengths right now in the States, control over their own body. That's a back step of over 50 years. When I was young, and I'm going to be graphic here, women that got pregnant were ostracized because that was a horrible dishonor of your family. It was a horrible thing to do. You were sent to a convent if you were lucky and abused there, or you were hidden in the back room and the baby was given away, no choice. You were sent to Aunt Marmalade, so nobody knew. It was destruction for your life. Your life was over. Then they'd marry you off as fast as you can. If you were lucky, you could find somebody that wasn't qualified and try an abortion, and you could die of septicism. You could die of rusty coat hangers. I'm not kidding, kids, and bleed to death. I'm not kidding. I lived that as a child, watching this occur, and then watching them make rules that weren't in that mindset, and we're back there again. I am gobsmacked that this could happen. So on the right side of my reading, they're asking women to stand up for women, not just in abortion, but other things. If you see a woman at work that's struggling, how can you help her? How can you as women get together and strengthen each other, support each other, love each other, respect each other, admire each other? Us older women, it's our job to mentor and support the young idiots that are coming up and don't know anything, and not get fatigued by their naiveness or their innocence, but help. Just like a puppy, right? The puppy doesn't know all this stuff. We have to help them. And on the other side is men. the male gender, and I don't know enough about men because I still, at my age, do not completely and totally understand them. I'm still learning though, and willing to learn, and I'm fascinated by the other species of male. What it's showing is the universe is working at offering situations to men this week, but overall, to feel comfortable and confident in, if something hurts them, to be able to have their eyes water and let them be less men. To embrace the emotional side of them and not be a weenie, you know what I mean? Who likes a weenie? But truly emotional, to feel, to be able to feel something that somebody else is going through, to maybe do what we do, get wet eyes when we see somebody else suffering. So they're trying to help men not lose their maleness. They don't want to take that away. That's a beautiful thing. I love the male gender. I admire the male gender. There's things I'd like to fix. I guess about both genders, right? But on a whole, guys are rocking it. I mean, I've got to hammer a pin out of my tractor today sometime. And I've got to use the huge hammer mallet that I can hardly lift. And I can just point it. You know, when a man does it, it's bang, slam, out. I do it and it's pick, 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 pick. So you got to admire the guys, right? They know how to get down in the oil and get dirty and fix that thing. So I admire all of that. Even that they just can do it, or not afraid and not run away from it. The courage that a lot of men have, the determination, there's so many things that you admire about men. So on this side, they're taking those traits and combining that with love, compassion, seeking emotional success in a healthy way, and to alleviate some of the confusion about genders. That's a stretch. Universe, you're being optimistic here. So when I look at this, I guess when I step back and I'm looking at this, when I'm looking at the two lines of cards here, I think what I'm seeing is, how do we balance male energy, female energy? How do we integrate male energy and female energy? And I believe that that's what they're trying to teach us for this next week. But more than just this week, kids. I think this is going to be the beginning of a journey for many, many of us. So we have that psychic energy, the intuitiveness that's allowing us to take part in and learn and grow and be better from. The instinct to know when a friend needs us, when they say they don't, but they do. All of that is so powerful. And, you know, if we can make one person a week, just one person a week, feel good about themselves, that's awesome. Just awesome. I'd like to be able to do that. The number that was given to us is number 5. And 5 combining with where the planets are right now, it's possibilities. It's building character. It's need of movement to get it going, to get it started, to be able to embrace change. 5 is struggle. And to maybe travel. Maybe traveling will get you to look at other parts of things, the way people do it differently in other areas, giving us more of an open mind or an opportunity to try and work with something. It's an amazing combination. I'm really excited about it. Number 5, with where the planets are, and that Aquarius energy on Friday, throws in us the need to search for freedom, for adventure. But that freedom, maybe we need to start looking at some of the rules that are imposed on us by Big Brother. And maybe we need to be more responsible and vocal and push back. We just maybe need to push back on some of these things. And that open mind is being offered to us this week, to open ourselves to new things, new ideas, and the inclination for leaderships. Both people, that leadership ability in each other, to support it in each other, in ourselves individually. This is powerful, kids. This is the beginning of a really powerful energy field. We'll be very sensitive with that Cancer energy. There's no doubt about it. And if you can, just to help yourself, avoid routine and boredom. I've tried really hard this last week and this next week coming not that I'm ever bored by my chores. I love my chores, and they're always different. Different ducks appear, it's always different. But I've been trying to mix up my routine of how I do my chores and see if there's a different way to do it, maybe a little bit better. It shocks the dog. Wait a minute, you always do this first. Now you're doing this first. I know. Just live with it. The weakness of number 5 is that we need to be careful not to succumb to sudden ideas that aren't healthy for us. Are we coming from a healthy place? And we have to be honest with ourselves. When the reporter, or the interviewer, George was interviewing Biden last night, he asked Biden a question. He asked, do you think that you can be objective in your own health and your own stamina, and that you could do the next 4 years? Do you think that you could be objective and be honest with yourself? That was a very thought-filled question that requires thought. And Biden said he did. And he answered really quickly. So is Biden fooling himself, or is he true? This is what we're being challenged to look at ourselves. Sudden ideas. Is it healthy for us? Are we coming from a healthy place? The weakness is instability as opposed to stability. The weakness is inclination to nervousness and restlessness as opposed to productivity and getting something done, not just wandering around. The weakness is keeping a balance in emotional, professional, and financial areas as opposed to leaning or listing like a boat taking on water and just about to sink. We are not going to like rules, and we're not going to like restrictions, and I can feel it happening already. I'm already getting my rebel on. I got my rebel suit going on here, and we cannot be forced to do something. That is why I think they're offering the opportunity to open our eyes, see what's going on around us, not say, oh, I don't get into politics. I don't get into this. I don't get into this. Well, good luck, kids, because if you don't, something's going to be shoved down your throat that you might not really like, and it's too late to do anything about it, or it'll take too much to undo it. So just open your eyes. That's what we're supposed to do. On that note, I will stop lecturing, and I really don't mean to lecture. It's not something that I even should be doing, and it's not lecturing. It's just talking about it. And I think that we need to talk about things. I think that in the ability to discuss these things with each other and maybe make things that I didn't even know I wasn't aware of till somebody told me about it. Wasn't aware of it till I went to do it. And then I'm going to tell 100 other people. Did you know that after 73, this, and this is taken away from you by the government? Why? I don't know. Why are they so adamant in the States about stopping abortion? It isn't just pro-life. It isn't. I know what the underlying reasons are, and I'm not going to even start to discuss it. Being intuitive, I know. You can't lie to me. And people do. People do it. I'm thinking, wait a minute, you just came to me for a reading and you're lying to me. If I could accept that lie and not know it, what kind of a reader am I? But I get it all the time. The check is in the mail and think, no, it's not. Why are you lying to me? You're confusing me. Again, I want to take this moment to thank Charlie O'Brien from the bottom of my heart. He has put us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music Podcast, SoundCloud, YouTube, and then he gives me the link and I put that on Facebook. Charlie does that out of the goodness of his heart. He has organized and created the website www.terriworld.com, and he's archived some, maybe 4 or 5 of the podcasts. So if you missed any or you just want to go through them again, they're up there. I really appreciate Charlie. Really, really, really do. If you can send him some good energy and listen to his radio broadcast as well, support him. If you need a website done, he's the man. Anything just about digital, he seems to really have a handle on it. Photography, you wouldn't believe it. You would not believe that man. He can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Maybe I'll get a picture done. I'd like to be a silk purse. Okay, there we go. I know what I'm doing this week. So big thanks and shout out to Charlie. Thanks to you for taking the time to listen. Thank you for being kind to each other, for supporting each other, for encouraging each other, for inspiring each other, and for making somebody else's life a little better, a little more comfortable, a little happier. Go find your happy kids. Alrighty, if you need me for a private reading, 519-726-6699. You can have a phone reading or you can come to my home. You can text or email that. Email is terri.coutts@gmail.com. Thanks again, everybody. You have yourself a wonderful week. We'll talk next week. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.